All right, good morning,
Sounds
both
good.
of you. Good
Hi,
morning.
good morning.
I would like to thank you both for joining my YouTube channel this morning. It's raining here because the typhoon Maisak is about to approach in any time. How's the weather like, Chandran, in India?
Oh, we're just going through the monsoon season, so it's the rainy season right after the summer. So we have about 2 months of rains, intermittent rains, but it's very, very humid weather. It's like probably the worst time in Delhi in that sense. So we're waiting for end of September, October, when the weather is just beautiful. October, November, December, January, fantastic months. But yeah, we're in some humid weather right now. So lots of rains as well. Yeah.
All right, okay. Before we go into our main interview, I would like to start off with a little icebreaker called, what do you consider yourself as? And Sharon, since you are his wife, Chandran's wife, or Chandran, you are her husband, you could correct them, correct it if Chandran is lying, all right? If he's not saying the truth. All right. So maybe Sharon can answer first and then Chandran can answer, all right? Lady first. Number one, do you consider yourself as a tea person or a coffee person?
That's a tea person.
Easy. She's a tea person.
Absolutely.
All right, so both of you are tea person.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
All right, that's great.
I think I have 5 cups of tea every day.
Sorry, 5 cups of tea?
I think so, almost.
And Sharon, and what about you? How many cups a day?
Oh, that's me.
Oh, 5 cups a day.
That's me. I think he's up to maybe 3. Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Number 2, do you consider yourself as a sugar cream person or black tea person?
Sugar cream. Is that for me?
Okay, Sharon can go first, and then we'll go to you, Chandran. All right.
All of them, Sharon first. Okay,
yes,
sounds
all
good.
right.
Okay, I'm just a cream person, no sugar.
Chandran?
Sugar for me. I take 1 spoon of sugar. I need to cut down though, but yeah.
All right, 1 spoon
One
sugar for
spoon of
Chandran.
sugar. Yeah, for him.
And cream person for Sharon.
Just cream. Yeah. Yes.
All right. Number 3, do you consider yourself a front row seater or a back row seater in mass gatherings or in classes?
I'm a front row person. Everywhere. Whether in church or math or anything, I'm front row.
Yep, I would be a front row person for the most part. Yeah.
That doesn't make me smart. It just means I'm very distracted with anybody else in front of me.
All right. I think you guys are smart. Okay, number 4. Number 4. Do you consider yourself as a keep it to yourself person or have to let it out person?
Do you want to go first on this one?
I think I'm more of a keep it to myself person. I wonder if men are more like that, generally speaking. We kind of keep it all in, and we don't like to talk about our feelings and emotions about stuff. So I'm probably more in that bracket. But yeah, I mean, I don't mind talking about it maybe if someone else kind of broaches a subject. But yeah, am I right, Han?
Yeah, he's right. And where I'm concerned, I think I can keep it to myself until the whistle blows, and then it's only to Chandran that I end up telling him anything. Yeah, that's pretty much it. There's nobody else involved really, but yeah, he gets to hear most of what's going on.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. That's great. That's great. You guys have a very good relationship. That's really nice. Number 5, do you consider yourself a procrastinator or getting things done ASAP, as soon as possible?
You first.
Oh, me first. I think I'm a little bit of both. I have to admit I'm a little bit of both. I can't say I'm one side or the other. So I do procrastinate at times, but as soon as I get a bee in my bonnet, I'm on the job and I get everything done. So I think he can vouch for that.
Yeah, that's true. She's a bit of both. For me, I'm a procrastinator. I work well under pressure.
All right. Okay. So Sharon, next time if he's not working, you can give him pressure. All right. Number 6, do you consider yourself a laptop computer friendly person or a cellular phone friendly person? Like, for example, would you turn on your laptops to write emails or would you do it through your cell phone?
Oh, I do it on my cell phone. Primarily because my laptops have been taken over by my children. And I do not have much access to it anymore. But yeah, I'm still a cellular person.
All right, great.
For me, I think both to some extent. I mean, it just depends on what's available, but I'm comfortable with using both if needed. Yeah.
All right, both. All right. Number 7, do you consider yourself a listener or more of a speaker?
Again, I'm a little bit of both because I do end up I have had a lot of young women come and meet with me, and I've been forced to sit and listen. And even my kids, my girls are all teenagers, so I have to listen. So I have to listen a lot, but I do end up speaking too. So again, a little bit of both, yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm more of a listener. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay. Number 9, do you consider yourself as a paper person or an iBook person? Like for me, like if I have to read journals, I still have to print it out. I'm an old person.
Yes, that's me. I have to have it in print.
That's totally her. She hates reading stuff on a phone.
I hate it.
But I'm okay. I use Kindle quite a bit. I do a lot of my sermon prep on my laptop, so I'm always reading stuff off the screen. And I've got some of my commentaries on there as well. So I'm quite comfortable with reading off a screen. Yeah.
All right. So one is paper person and one is off the screen person. Great. Last but not the least, do you consider yourself a resort type person where you can just sit back and relax when traveling? Or are you a sightseeing person going around every historical monument?
No, I think both of us are very resorted to resorts.
I don't want to go anywhere, man.
He doesn't want to see anything around. He just wants the room with a nice beach view, and that's about it. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
all right, so you can just look at the beach and maybe see the monuments through books.
Yeah. Anywhere, any of the holidays we've done over the years, even with the kids, we just go to the beach, we'll come back, eat at a restaurant, come back to the room. That's about
Watch
it.
TV.
Going out anywhere, too much drama.
Yeah, too much.
So it's more of like eat and sleep.
Oh yeah, that's resort.
That's all right. Break, right? You want to be able to rest and you want to have that time off. Yeah, life is too busy anyway. So.
What about Italy? Like if you go to like Italy or Egypt, would you still be doing that?
Oh no, I'd have to get out and do stuff. Greece, Italy, Egypt, any of these European places with such rich history, I have got to see stuff. Yeah, and taste the food as well as experience the place. Yeah, I have.
I think when you put it like that, it probably is. Yeah, Europe would be a place that I think. Yeah, we would.
Then it depends on the place. If it's worth looking at, so any place in Europe is really worth it. It's not worth it if you just go downtown and there's a beach next door and that's it, So there's nothing.
Yeah, and if we went to Southeast Asia, we'd probably go and check out lots of different food places, I guess.
Yeah.
Right, Han?
Yeah, Southeast Asia is food. It's not monuments. No. Yeah.
All right. Okay, so please now let's go into our interview and introduce yourself and briefly on your name, what you do, your current location, and anything else that would describe you. Maybe Chandran, you can go first on this.
Okay, sure. Well, Chandran Kadambavanam here. Young and I know each other from the Y program 22 years ago. I'm from India. I live in New Delhi, India, which is the capital city of India. I serve as a pastor with a church, Delhi Bible Fellowship. I've been almost about 14 years now that I've been in pastoral ministry. I'm married to Sharon, who's on the screen here, and we have 4 children, Hannah, Michelle, Leah, and Joel. And we recently got a little Labrador puppy as well. So that's about our family, and we're in the lockdown like the rest of the world at this time, and so pretty much at home where church and school and all of that stuff is. Yeah.
Sharon?
Okay, I'm Sharon Michelle Kadambavanam, and Jung and I go way back 10 minutes ago, and that's when we met. And I'm Chandran's wife, and like he mentioned, our whole family. I have been taking care of the worship ministry and the kids ministry at church, though I've handed it over right now. And music is a passion that I enjoy, and that's what I'm all about here.
All right. Thank you so much. So you guys are now in New Delhi and you are a pastor at, can you tell me your church's name again, please?
Delhi Bible Fellowship.
Delhi Bible Fellowship.
That's
All right. Okay. Now, we were talking a lot about traveling, wanting to go to lie down on the beach, but since we can't do that, we are now currently going through this pandemic, COVID-19, sadly to acknowledge. But how is this COVID-19 situation in your place, and what measures are being taken, and what kind of changes are you experiencing right now?
Honey, you want to go?
I know that Chandran is way better on statistics, but what I do know is that there are a lot of people who don't adhere to the rules and regulations in our country as well. And if they want to riot, they do that. If they want to meet together, sometimes they end up doing that. But on the general side, a lot of people do wear masks and walk around, and life is continuing pretty much as usual. There's a lot of offices and stuff open, not in complete 100% degree, but still our cases did drop for a while, but then suddenly it escalated after the government gives a little bit of a relaxation, and then it escalates. Our economy is in the dumps, and things have become expensive, which means it's expensive for people who are from a lower income group also, and it's hard for them to handle their daily expenses, as well as many people have lost their jobs in the process of this lockdown from the beginning. There are still a few openings, but it's a lot of people have struggled financially through this. So our country is not in the best place, and the pandemic always takes, that's what I feel, the pandemic takes second place to the political situation, and people in the political light seem to want to have their way, not caring much about this whole situation. So yeah, that's what I feel.
Yeah,
All right.
I would agree with her. I think it's been terribly managed, and I think there's sadly a lot of politics involved, and our country is going through a really difficult political phase, even very divided right now, and so in all of that, it's been terribly mismanaged. India is like now second in the world, I think, in second or third in the world in number of COVID cases, about 3.7 million. We have 70,000 people who have died from COVID and things like that. So it's not looking very good, and our economy is like it's shrinking. It's gone to minus 23%, which is looking really bad for the long run. So we're quite concerned about how things are being managed. Yeah, I think it can definitely be managed better. But yeah, that's the concern.
All right, so what stage of lockdown are you guys in right now? Like, are you allowed to go out just with your masks on? Are kids back in school?
The kids are not back in school yet. There is some conversation going on with the director of education about probably opening up maybe after September or something, but nothing is on paper and nothing is finalized yet. We are allowed to go out with masks and stuff, so we can go to the markets and do our basic stuff and come back. What is not allowed is gatherings, public gatherings of any sort, and even that they were talking about relaxing the rule on that too, which allows people to meet probably in churches and stuff like that. That too is not completely finalized because, for example, we don't have a church building of our own. We meet in a school. We have rented a little basement in the school, and many other churches have also got spaces in that particular school, which is a common thing in Delhi. So we don't know if the school authorities would give permission for a public gathering in their premises, on their premises. So yeah, we can't be too certain, but where we are is just living basically and continuing with our life, and we're not able to have people over yet. We may go, maybe I saw for myself, my parents live in the same city around maybe 17 to 20 kilometers away, and I've seen them only once in the last 7 months. So it's hard, and I can't go to them too often because they are elderly. But yeah, so not much visitation also is happening. So yeah.
And Chandran, how are you giving services online?
Yeah, we do online services. I think since March 22nd, when the government first instituted the lockdown, which again, many people feel was quite late. They could have done a little bit earlier. But anyway, we started March 22nd. We've been doing online services. And I think we'll probably continue on, in my mind, for another month or two, maybe longer. But although the government is just a couple of days ago, they released, we're actually in what they're calling unlock stages. So we had lockdown stages. We went up to lockdown 4, and now they're in unlock stages. And so they're slowly reopening certain things. And so we're in that kind of a phase. And so we got a notice maybe 2-3 days ago saying that religious groups could meet up to 100 people. So that's the ceiling, beginning the end of this month, end of September. So we'll have to see how that actually works out, whether that'll actually materialize depending on where we're meeting and that sort of thing. But until then, we're doing online services. We use Zoom, which is quite an effective way of doing a service. And that's the best we can do really at this time. So yeah.
All right, thank you for sharing your story. And in what aspects of life did the COVID-19 change on a family basis, like in your family? And what aspects do you foresee to change in the next future, especially like in kids' education? And since you're a pastor, what directions for the church services should move forward? In which direction should they go on? And how do we stay focused or more friendly with God at this time? Maybe Sharon can talk about education, and Chandran, you can go with the church services. All right, Sharon, you want to go first?
I don't know how much is really going to open up or unlock with the education is concerned. Children also have adopted quite a lax lifestyle because of the fact that they don't have to get up and get ready and go anywhere. So they end up sleeping late and sometimes getting up late because classes don't start till 9. So they have time till 8:45 to sleep sometimes. So it's a bit painful on the parents, this thing. And from a mom's perspective, I feel I almost live in the kitchen now. I'm constantly having to churn out things because everyone's home. And if they were not home, at least I'd get a break. But yeah, that ends up happening. Anyway, the whole examination and the tests that are online for the children, the whole face of it has changed. It's not as serious as it used to be. It's not as heavy as it used to be. And homeschooling seems to be something that is suddenly, we are all homeschooling now, apart from the few classes they attend. And it's suddenly put on all of us parents who are not trained or don't even know. I don't know how to homeschool because I haven't adopted that discipline into my life in how to homeschool for children, you know. So it's been a bit of a pressure on me and both of us in that way. So I don't know how long this is going to continue, and I'm a little afraid to have to send my kids back into school, because suddenly in their school they have up to 40 kids in a class and up to maybe 2,500 children in a given building, you know. So it is impossible for things not to spread rapidly if anything should happen. And parents will be more than happy to send their kids away to school just for a break, and whether they are sick or not, sometimes they still send them, which could be very dangerous for the rest of the children. So I don't know where this whole education thing is going to go. I'm happy with the lightness of it. It's not so heavy, so that way I'm happy with it. Other than that, I must say that children are getting quite stressed out and frustrated sitting at home because they don't get the gravity of the situation. They're not even allowed to go down and play sometimes, so they're just at home. And parents sometimes step out to the market and come back, but kids don't do that. So there's a lot of emotional and other stuff going on also, apart from the pandemic as such. There's a lot of emotional and emotional stuff going on, counseling that has to happen on a daily basis, and a lot of fights and arguments happen in the house, which contributes to a lot of stress and anxiety. So I mean, they are children, but they are all as big as us and as grown up, and you know, so they're eye to eye, you're talking eye to eye, and it's difficult. It has to be difficult. So it's not just dealing with a pandemic outside, it's just taken away a lot of our freedom, taken away a lot of things, and we are forced to function in a way that we're not used to. And yes, Christian love and Christian grace is what should happen, but not all of us are trained to handle that much amount of grace and love in the confines of four walls. Yeah.
All right, thank you for sharing your frank stories, because raising 4 kids, really, I mean, raising one kid is not easy, but you're doing, like if you have a second child, things don't double up, it exponentiate, like, there's an exponential curve. So
Yes.
like having 4, you would have like x to the 16th power, something like that. So wow, Sharon,
Yeah.
like if you need, like in Korea, we also have a new word called like 돌밥, meaning like you turn around, you have to, you're back in the kitchen again, doing cooking again. You turn around and then you have to cook again. You have to turn around, you have to cook again.
Yeah.
So like 돌돌 means
true.
to turn around. So 돌밥 means pot means rice. So it's like turn rice, turn rice, turn rice. So there's like a new word coming. We've been not going to school since December. So imagine this.
Oh wow.
And we did go back to school like once a week and then twice a week, and then it started again.
Yeah.
So like what you said, it's quite dangerous. Yes. And
Yes.
so, yeah, like what you said, we need counseling. We need counseling, and it's something new. So we all need some, like education for this. I think parents should be educated as well.
Yes.
And maybe
absolutely.
Sharon, you could share your stories about raising 4 kids. And maybe that could help the world, because I have a tough time raising 2 kids. So, all right, Chandran, you want to say something in this? What aspect?
Yeah, I think definitely the point that she touched on. We aren't paying much attention to the mental health side of this, because we are created to be in community, relationships, even just physical touch. We've had some of our people in a couple other churches where they've lost loved ones, and at the funeral there's only 2 or 3 people, and you can't even physically touch them and kind of encourage them and comfort them, and that's so hard. It's so unnatural, even. So I definitely think there's a mental health side to this whole thing where this isolation isn't good for us long term. And coming to the church, I just a few days ago I was talking to a couple of people also. I'm really concerned about the spiritual health of the church and believers.
Yeah.
Online services, they're nothing in comparison to the actual physical
Yeah.
meeting that you have. And we used to have small groups, so we have life groups, we call them. They meet in the week, and then we have our Sunday service. And whatever it is, you finish the Sunday service, and then right after our service, we usually have some tea and we have some cookies, and people just hang around for about half an hour, 40 minutes, maybe even an hour sometimes. There's a lot of conversation that happens, a lot of, just really good time, which doesn't happen now. When you finish a meeting now, you just click leave meeting, and that's it. You're in your own space all of a sudden, you know. You're in your own space all of a sudden, and it just kind of